Hey, welcome back to another HVAC Success Secrets Revealed with Thaddeus and Evan, where we have good conversations with good people, and any good conversation worth having is worth having drunk. Cheers, bud. Good to see you.
You too.
Oh, I needed
Always
that.
good. Always good.
Great way to start a Wednesday afternoon, I think.
Indubitably.
And you know what? Here it's minus 24 Celsius right now, which is cold as fuck. And whiskey is really great right now. So,
you know what? On Friday, I was looking that minus Fahrenheit is the same as minus Celsius for us. Minus 43 with the wind chill on Friday. It's the same.
Yeah.
Celsius and Fahrenheit. Yep. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, not fun. But today we are going to have some fun. We've got Claire Ficke on the show. She works in the company with CompanyCam in the business development department. She's been in the sales industry for more than 3 years. But CompanyCam, they are a really unique company within the home services space, adding a ton of value to so many businesses. How businesses really work within and build processes within their team. And I'm excited for the conversation today on how you can truly utilize software and technology, bring in the idea of photos to really manage your team and also market your business in a more effective way. So I'm excited for the conversation today.
No, 100%. And getting to meet her down in Atlanta in AHR, we happened to pass by the CompanyCam booth. I think we're Instagramming each other. We're like, hey, we're on our way. You going to be there? She's like, yeah. And so we stopped by and said hi and had a great conversation too, in terms of what CompanyCam can do for an HVAC business and just internally and externally too. So some fascinating topics. So excited to dive into it. And of course, our show wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. And I realized on the bottom, we are missing one of our sponsors. So let me just go ahead and hit that one actually. So it should be that one. There we go.
There we go.
Technology is difficult today. So it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, Chirp, Profit Rocket, Sera, and On Purpose Media. In no particular order, let's go with Sera Systems first today. And Sera Systems, they're field management software that allows you to really track job time efficiency in real time, dynamic dispatching, which is automatic on your website, by the way. And the thing that I like about Sera is that their users have an average increase of revenue of 52% within the first 6 months. And those same businesses have more than doubled their profits. Book your demo with Sera today at sales.sera.tech/HVAC-revealed. The other one is Chirp. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. It's an ultimate automation toolbox for home service professionals. Direct integrations, aka drop-down menus. So you just basically drop, click, connect with Service Titan, HouseCall Pro, Jobber, Sera, etc. Thing I like about Chirp: automated text messages, emails, ringless voicemails, and even direct email, but also rehash programs and Google reviews. And if you want to get 25% off your first 3 months, hit up Chirp at chirp.com/HSSR?FPR=OPM. That is in the show notes. They need to get a better link for us, but that'll work for now. It'll be in the show notes. Get 25% off your first 3 months with them.
And last but not least, we have Profit Rocket. Look, Victor's grown his business from 0 to 40 million in 4 years. If you want to learn what it is that he's done in his business, you can check out the blueprint. And he's also got 2 incredible events coming up. One is the whiteboard event, which is totally free. You can go register at callprofitrocket.com for that one. And of course, he's got the Profit Rocket Growth Summit 2023 happening in September in Austin, Texas. You got to meet the background there, bud. Go check out callprofitrocket.com, get registered. They are still doing a draw for a truck if you register early and get in on the early bird. And that ends March 1st. So make sure you get registered for the Profit Rocket Growth Summit 2023 in Austin, Texas.
Let's go.
Giddy up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to HVAC Success Secrets Revealed, a show where we interview industry leaders and disruptors, revealing the success secrets to create and unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Now your hosts, Thaddeus and Evan.
Claire, how are you?
Awesome intro, you guys. That intro is just super fun. I'm great. How are you?
Doing excellent. Hump day.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a great way to start off my Wednesday afternoon. So happy to
Nothing
be
like
here.
nothing like pre-drinking at 1 p.m. Pacific.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shh. My company's not supposed to know this, okay? No.
It's okay.
Waters, nothing but waters. I mean, this is just food coloring, really. It's
Exactly. I poured water into my seltzer can. That's what I did.
Awesome.
No,
Sarah,
happy to be here, you guys. I've heard so much about your podcast. I've been so excited to just like finally get involved. So yeah, you guys are making waves out there in the HVAC world. Let me tell you.
We're having some fun. Well, and it was cool to meet you the first time down in Phoenix. We met briefly there at the Women in HVAC event.
Oh yeah. I always forget that was the first time.
Yeah, it was brief. It was very brief.
It's quick.
So obviously not that memorable that time, but that's okay. We met there briefly, which was great. And I know you were running around. You did a bunch of podcasts. You did one with Eric and with Tersh and Josh. And did you do one with Ryan too?
No, I think I just did those two at that time. Yeah, but
Yeah, you were really
that's always
popular.
a busy show. It's fun. There's a lot of things to do and people to see. So
Totally. And then of course AHR was nuts. And you guys had a booth there and we're talking to people all day long and happened to tag us on Instagram. So glad we were able to finally connect and now have you on the show.
Yeah. Busy conference season. There's more to come, right?
Absolutely.
It always is. It seems like there's one that anybody can go to at any point in time.
Oh, there is. Let me tell you.
Right.
We call it our biz dev tracking sheet. I'm in the business development team at CompanyCam. I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, if you saw the amount of shows we go to, you might have a little bit of a heart attack. It's a large list, but we like to be out and about. We like to meet our customers and talk to people face to face. It's the most fun. So
absolutely. Well, why don't you give us a little bit of your journey into working with the trades, working with CompanyCam, and what it was about the trades that really drew you in?
Sure. Well, I mean, to be honest, nothing drew me in about the trades. I didn't want to work at this job. I didn't want to do sales. Like, let's just start off real honest here. Yeah, this was definitely not something I ever thought that I would get involved in. But kind of my beginnings with CompanyCam, I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska, so from the Midwest in the U.S. And CompanyCam is also out of Lincoln. I graduated college. And when did I graduate? I graduated college around like 2017, I think. And I was about to move to Colorado because I was like, I'm getting out of the Midwest or getting out of Nebraska. And one of my good friends called me up and I really trusted her. She's one of those people where like, you just really trust their energy and trust what they have to say. They're not going to lead you astray. She called me up and she was like, I know you're about to leave, but I really think you should give this company a chance. They're an upcoming startup in Lincoln, but like their energy and their vibe is really good. And I think that they have a lot to say and they're going to make some waves. So with that, I had to take the interview and ended up not moving to Colorado, stayed on. And that was maybe a few years into CompanyCam. So they were just getting started. I was their like third sales rep or something like that. We call them inside sales reps. So I was the one calling everybody up that downloaded the app and asking if they wanted me to train them, things like that. And I never thought I would do it. And it ended up being so much fun because I have like no contractors in my family. I have a ton of farmers and they all built their own shit and did their own thing, right? Like I was around that my whole life, but I don't come from a contracting family or a background. And I feel like a lot of people in this world and in this industry do, which makes sense. But I really had no background. So honestly, like it's still just a work in progress to learn all these industries, specifically HVAC. But it's super fun. So yeah, that's where I got my start there with CompanyCam. They let me become, I think I was their first remote employee, which is pretty awesome. They let me move out here to California. I'm still here. Unfortunately, I quit on them. Like real good employee. But no, I knew I needed to like meet some people and kind of get my feet wet and other things. And dive into a few different areas in tech. So I moved over to another tech company, did sales, did onboarding, did customer success. And then around 2020, I I touched base with CompanyCam again because I always kept good connections with them because they really were my family. They were incredible. They're incredible people. And they said, "Yep, we're ready for you to come back whenever you're ready." And there was a role that was open that I wanted, and yeah, it's been 2 years since then. So yeah, I'm in the business development team now. And I wear many hats, I feel. But my main priorities, what I do is I travel a lot. I handle a lot of our partnership management, and I get to speak and train on different topics, specifically around photo documentation, since that's our bread and butter. So yeah, it's really fun. It's kind of a hoobla jubla of a lot of crap, but it's fun. So how long was that? Was that a 5-minute story?
Oh, there's really no set time limit on it.
There we go.
One of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and this came from when you wrote our the questionnaire and you filled that out, is that you went from not having, you had 0 sales experience, and now you've got into a sales role in that. And like I was like saying, okay, well, you have technicians who might turn into a selling technician, or a tech who wants to go into the sales world but has no or little sales experience. So what would you say to somebody who wants to get into sales but has no sales experience, coming from somebody who had no sales experience and got into sales?
Oh man, that's such a good question, and I've never really been asked that. So great.
Nailed it, Evan. I'm done for the
Yeah.
day. I'm out.
You truly did. Yeah, you can just leave now. You truly did.
Just stanza question.
I think it's a good question because regardless of what trade you're in, I mean, of course, like knowing your trade well is going to be helpful. Knowing your product you're selling is going to be helpful. But like, I've truly found that the people that truly do well at sales, regardless of what they're selling, are people that like have an energy of empathy and an energy of curiosity, and also being confident without being pompous or being really annoying to be around, right? Holding your own, but also knowing like you have a lot to learn, right? Which is a very interesting balance, but that's kind of what you have to do in sales, because although you may know your perfect product, or exactly what unit this home needs, or A, B, and C, right, about this kind of air quality that this is going to feed anything, even if you think you have no idea like what that family actually is doing in their home from day to day, and what actually matters to them, and what areas of their home is the most important. And are you asking those questions? And you can say this about any product. Like for me, I may know why CompanyCam I think is the best like capturing tool. But do I really know the process between the moment that a tech steps on, or the moment that a sales guy steps onto a new location, and the questions they're asking, the photos they're taking, to the next step of handing that off to the install tech, to the next step of the office? What do they need to see? If I don't know that, then I'm just spewing words that I know about my product. I have no care in the world of how it's going to fit into your life. So I truly believe you have to be open, empathetic, and you have to be curious about your potential customer. And then be confident with what you have, trust in what you have. And if it's a fit, you'll know, right? So I guess that's what I would say. That's my 2 cents. Now, I'm not a perfect salesperson by any means. I don't know if there ever will be, but I do think that's what's allowed me to do well in the past.
Mm-hmm. Well, you look at some of the basics of sales. It's a transfer of energy, right? If you can get people to buy in with the value, like you have to believe in your product first and foremost. So you have to have the value that's there, and then you just transfer the energy from what you bring forward. Like I think about myself and my sales careers, and the times that I've been in sales slumps. Guess what? Not much confidence in the sales process and the ability in my own abilities, and then you have sales slumps, right? And that's a big thing. So great points. I would agree with pretty much all those points.
Yeah.
And so 2 of the things you said there around empathy and curiosity. I guess, can you go a little bit deeper on what it means to have empathy for your customer and their situation, and maybe even from like a contractor's perspective, because and this is where Thad, I know, was going with the question, and why he wanted to ask it in the first place, is because so many contractors struggle with sales because they want to fix things. They don't want to sell to you things. So I think this point is really, really key in understanding that sales is not something you do to someone, but someone you do for someone. So if you can talk a little bit about what it means to truly have empathy in the sales process.
Yeah. To me, I mean, I think there's a few different ways you could spin it but it comes down to the main core idea. It's like, if you don't understand like their emotion and their feeling, then you're not going to effectively sell. You won't, because in the end, we're emotional people. Like, it's a transfer of energy, and that energy is driven by emotion. And truthfully, our sales skills and everything that's happening in the marketing world is all driven by emotion, right? So if you can't tap in and decide, and even if, and I really suggest this to people that are trying to get into sales and it's just like they're hitting roadblocks, like, ask yourself, are you truly asking questions, and are you truly listening to the answer, or are you just trying to ask questions so that you can get to the part where you start talking, right? Like, ask yourself where your pause is and where your listening skills are. It's all about listening, because the moment that you ask the question, yes, we need to ask some effective questions. I truly believe that a company can set their salespeople up for success when it comes to discovery questions. Again, across any sales org, you can set up some good questions, but it's all about how you listen to that feedback. Because once you start listening, you realize that you can pick out these emotions, these things that they don't want, these things that they do want to happen. And then guess what? All you have to do is reflect back to them what they said, right? That's all you have to say, because then all of a sudden you are empathetic. All of a sudden you have tapped into understanding what they're going through. Because when you can say that back to somebody, that means you listened, you understand, right? So that's a practice. Like, I was trained to do, not even at CompanyCam, not even in this industry, just I was an affiliate marketing platform. That's what we did. But truly what it was, hey, let's ask some questions. And then how do you take the feedback or the answer? And then how do you literally reproduce it in a way that says, I listened, I picked out these 3 pieces that you wanted me to understand, and this is where I think we could go to find you a solution so you can get to your best case scenario, right? Like, that is the process. And there's a million sales trainings out there that can teach you this process. And it's not a perfect one size fits all. But in the end, if you can listen, if you can say it back, and then you can easily say, now I have something that can get you to your best case scenario that you already shared with me, because you should ask your client, what is the best situation you could be in, right? Then you should win every time. You should, unless your product sucks, and that happens. But like, you should win, because they're buying you. And I know that that's kind of cliche, whatever. Because again, if a product doesn't fit, but they're going to continue the conversation and try to start liking your product if they like you. It's just super interesting as well. So think about those things. Take your questions, and then think about how you listen, and then how do you respond.
I also wanted to discovery. Some people might confuse this. Discovery is not rapport building, by the way. Just for those that are wondering, discovery is like actual questions to learn about your client. I always say rapport building in sales is a farce, because I mean, it's like hugging, right? Have you ever tried to hug a non-hugger?
It's the
most awkward thing ever, right? It's so uncomfortable. So have you ever tried to build rapport with a non-rapport builder? Yes, so uncomfortable, right? And now you've turned that person off. And so letting them lead by having a series of discovery questions, and naturally, if they want to get off topic, they'll get off topic. Then you found a rapport builder. Then you get off topic with them, right? So there's a key distinguishing factor there that some people think in their discovery is rapport building. It's actually not. It's pre-framed questions to learn more about your the client and their business and those sorts of things. So
100%. Well, and something else that you touched on as well is that people will buy with emotion, but they justify with logic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you spend majority of your time doing exactly what Claire just pointed out, right, building emotion, connecting with people, listening to them, hearing their problems, providing them with a solution, that's where the logic comes in. Right. It's the last part. And that's where the justification comes in the buying process. So that was great. Thank you for that.
Benefits, not features too, as well. Yes.
How is this going to affect you? How
Correct.
are you going to feel after this
Correct.
comes in, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to think about it every day. I'm
Yep.
not perfect at it either. Like it's kind of a fun puzzle to put together.
Yep. Well, but that's the thing, right? Is you always have to constantly adapt yourself. Like I've been in sales for a long time. In the previous role that we were at, I had to constantly tell myself, hey, stop talking about the features of the magazine that we're in, start talking about the benefits, right? That's all they cared about, is how is it going to benefit me as a business owner. So thinking about benefiting a business owner, well, CompanyCam. That was a perfect segue, man. I think I'm on fire today. Insert CompanyCam here. So if somebody has not heard of CompanyCam, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, say that we're talking to somebody within this industry. Obviously, we're all about photo documentation. So, quick little overview of where CompanyCam came from. We were built by a roofing company in Lincoln, Nebraska. The son of the owner of the roofing company is our CEO, CompanyCam CEO. But at the time, he worked for this roofing company, and his dad tasked him with basically taking over the organization of their documentation, their photos, their videos, and then also marketing the company, right? Because most of your marketing includes something visual. So he realized that it was a mess. He realized that they hit all these different locations throughout the year. They were taking all these different photos, but they were stuck on people's phones. They were stuck on email threads. They were stuck in a Slack or in a WhatsApp. And how was he going to even effectively market if he couldn't effectively get any of the visuals he needed? So he really ran into those like two main problems, was just disorganization and not being able to get what he needed when he needed it. So they created CompanyCam for the company. It's called White Castle Roofing. And then they realized they were onto something. And then fast forward 8 years, we work with over 20,000 individual companies and 120,000 individual users access our platform every day. And so at its core, what we've always been, and then we have a plethora of lovely features, but at our core, we are live cloud-based photo documentation. So instead of snapping a photo on your camera phone or on your device and it saving to your phone or to your device, and then you having to do something with all those images or all that documentation or all those notes, instead you snap all of your photos, videos, you can scan in your documents, take all of your notes, and it's all organized in live time. It's a live feed. It's cloud-based. It's all organized by location, date, and time. So we're project-based. Everything's organized under that project location. And then since it's cloud-based, everybody under a singular company or under a singular account has access to all that information from anywhere that they can access CompanyCam, whether that's on their phone or on the desktop. So what did that create for them? Ultimately, obviously, there was way more organization. Since it's live, it was in live time communication, so they could catch issues quickly, or they could be more efficient as a team to make decisions quicker, right? And then the last piece is that obviously they could all get what they needed at any time, especially like if you're in marketing, right? Or if you're in sales and you're like, I really need to pull up this really amazing roof that we did last year to show this client what we did on this same roof and this same shingle type, but I can't find a photo. Well, now they could, right? So if you insert that into HVAC, I'm sure you could understand where that would be effective as well. But yeah, that's kind of the overview of CompanyCam and where we've come so far.
And so, go ahead, bud.
You're good.
No, go ahead.
No, I insist.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
All right. This is the Canadian in us. This is
sorry, eh?
Sorry.
So kind, so kind. So patient. Whoever would like to ask a question.
Right.
Well, the tough part about when there's 3 people on a show, right? It's
bound to happen.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're talking about implementing something that's going to be adding to their system and adding to their process,
Oh, yeah.
So as a business owner, I can see that being my number one objection of like, how am I going to get buy-in? How am I going to get people to do this? Like, I already have a hard enough time getting them to ask for a review at the end of the sales call. Like, how am I going to get them to actually take pictures and document all this stuff and fill it all out correctly and do all of that? So for the business owner that's sitting there with that stern objection of how the hell do I get people to buy into this? What would you say to them?
Yeah, so I have a presentation that I do all about implementing technology and vetting technology correctly for your business. And one of the big pieces of that presentation is buy-in from your team. Because ultimately, if you don't have buy-in, and buy-in can include a lot of different pieces, then you're buying something for nothing and you're wasting your money, right? So yeah, to answer your question, that's been our whole entire philosophy as a company, is ultimately snapping a picture on your phone or on a device is super easy, but it creates a lot of problems for you if it's not organized for you, right? So what we've tried to do is basically replicate the experience that everyone knows, which is snapping a photo on your device, just replicating that experience, but within an app setting that will then do all the work behind the scenes for you. But you can still just snap that photo and then all of it's done, right? So that's always been our goal, is to be as user-friendly as possible. So when owners come to us and they say, we've heard a lot about you, we've seen what you guys can do, we know that we probably need to get our photos organized at least, right? Most people are saying that to us, but like, this is just another thing to add. My team members are driving around, they're using this and this for measuring, this for job management, this for scheduling, and this for texting. I just don't know how I'm going to do this.
Right.
What I always said to them was like, let me just show you. Like, truly, let me show you how easy and how native of an experience this is going to be for your techs out in the field. And it's true. It's just that simple. You download the app, you press about 2 buttons and you've already created a project, and then you're automatically on the photo screen, and you snap all of your photos. And then that next element though, so sure, it's easy to download the app. It's really, really easy to get your team to use it because it's going to feel super similar to what they were already doing, right? Because that was our goal, was to make it simple as possible. But the next step is, okay, but how does it connect to all of our other systems? Because if you're a good business owner, you will have asked that question. So what we have found at CompanyCam is that's a huge piece for us, is we're not trying to replace really any of your other technology. We're not scheduling. We don't do dispatch. We're not doing any of that. We're organizing your documentation, your photos, your videos, your documents, right? And making it easier for you to get to those. But you still want that information to stream into all of your other systems. So we know that it's a big piece for us to be as open and friendly with all these other systems. So we integrate with a ton of other like CRMs and FSMs out there. And then we have, if you've heard of Zapier, I'm sure many people have, we have Zapier 2.0. We have a lot of Zapier connects with people that we don't have custom integrations with. That makes it super simple. So the moment that, say you create a new job in Jobber, right? It's automatically going to create a project folder in CompanyCam, so that the moment that your tech drives up to that location, that project populates for them instantly, because we're location based. So all they do is literally one click and brings them to the photo capture. They snap their photos. All those photos sync into CompanyCam, but they also sync back to the correct job in Jobber. And why is that so important? Because you don't want to double dip. You don't want to take all the time to have to go back and put the photos that you already captured into another area, into another area, into another area. Because with every extra step you add, there's more risk involved for, issues or problems coming up and things not getting done correctly. So that was a long-winded answer, but my answer, my quick and easy, is that our product is incredibly easy to use, and we've created it to be that way, and that will not change, because we know that that's kind of what's made us popular, because people like to use it and interface with it. And then the other piece is that we connect really easily with all the other software that you're trying to juggle. We just want to fit in seamlessly. So,
well, and I think one of the questions that I was going to ask about CompanyCam is, how does it work for a tech when they show up, right? You nailed that, because the biggest resistance that people get is, oh, I have another app that I have to use for work. like pound sand, get fucked, I don't want to do it, right? That's what they end up, I mean, they might not say that, but that's what they're thinking. And so you've made it super simple to like go in and take your photos. One of the things that you'd mentioned though was efficient as a team to make decisions quicker at some point. And that perked my ears in terms of an efficiency thing, because we've, Sera, right? Billy Stevens, he talks a lot about efficiency within an organization, and most HVAC businesses are operating at like 38% efficiency, right? So if they can get more efficient to make decisions quicker, walk us through how CompanyCam can do that and to make decisions quicker from an efficiency point of view.
Yeah, great question. So let's like start from the very beginning, right? I talk to a lot of companies that say, oh yeah, our sales guys go out and hopefully they snap some pictures of where the unit's going to get installed. And then they bring it in and then they upload it to the computer. And then we print it off and then we draw on that picture. And then we give that picture, that physical picture. Oh yeah, this is real.
I
And we
can
give that-
screenshot it and put it in Microsoft Paint.
or that, just as cringe, but that as well. And then we're gonna give that photo. We're gonna text that photo that we just drew all over in Paint to the install tech or to the manager who's gonna be scheduling this job, right? And then they're gonna take that photo and hopefully prep correctly for everything that they need for that install, or maybe it's a maintenance call or whatever. And then they're finally gonna go out there. So you can guess already, there was so much going on, so many moving parts there that could have been an instant click of a button by a sales rep. And then automatically that install tech could go in and say, okay, I know I just got scheduled for this new install of this unit, and I just want to see like what this area looks like and what we're working with. All he does is go into CompanyCam and goes to that project and sees all the photos automatically. So you have to start kind of thinking about in that way. Sure, you maybe like have a process. You maybe have a process of snapping some photos and then communicating from department to department to department to then get to the end result. But like, how many steps and how much time are those steps taking? So that's ultimately what we're trying to do. So that's the first step. The other piece that we have found, especially in this, in these trades, so plumbing, electric as well, is that there's a lot of apprentices, right? So there's a lot of new people going out on the job, and sometimes they won't have people with them at times as they're kind of moving up. So it's super, super helpful if they're going to go on a maintenance call for them to be able to easily access a folder that has all the history of all the visuals and all the documents and all the notes and everybody that's ever been to that location for them. It's all there in a project folder for them to instantly access. How much time does that then save for this apprentice that may be nervous, that maybe wants to chat with the tech that went out prior, that maybe wants to ask the office about like if he needs to wear shoe coverings, if he's going to go like in the basement or something, you know what I mean? All these things that could be answered with a simple click of a button.
Right.
So there's that piece. There's a lot of other pieces, but those are the two that I would call out. It's like the handoff between departments. That's where we find efficiencies. And then being able to be caught up to speed if you're going to go to a location or a current customer that you're revisiting.
Makes sense. Evan, did you want to touch on anything there before we jump into the random question?
Nope.
All right.
I was ready for that.
All right. Random question brought to you by onpurposemedia.ca, your local HVAC marketing experts. That's us. Check it out, onpurposemedia.ca. If your marketing sucks, give us a call. We'll help get it right. That's our readout, short and sweet. We have 4 questions prepared. You don't actually get to know what the questions are in advance. You get to choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then I read out the answer or the question, and then you give us an answer.
Okay.
So which one do you want? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh, I want 3.
3. What do you wish you had more talent in doing? Or more talent at? That's probably a better way to phrase that question.
Oh, that's such a good question. I love that question. I wish I had a better knack for being I know it comes off like I'm super open and social, but I am so shy. And I really have been working on, like, I really wish I had a knack for being able to walk up to a group of people and to be confident enough to like start a conversation. That's something I'm really running into, like, just to be totally candid and honest and authentic here. Like, that's what I really run into when I go to big shows. Like, right. I mean, we're all running into that sometimes. Like, we have to interface with a lot of different people and interact with a lot of different people. And I really struggle with that. I wish I was more talented at feeling like I could just step into a room and start a conversation and not like feel awkwardness. That would make my life a lot easier. Oh, alcohol helps. It helps. It helps. But if I just had a natural way of that, that would be fun.
You know, it's actually funny that you say that, because, you know, as I'm thinking introspectively about that specific scenario, like I'm usually an outgoing person, and that one is also really difficult to do. Because you're like, well, you feel awkward for jumping into a group and they're all chatting about something, and you want to just like step in. Hey guys, can you widen the circle and make a spot for me? Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it can be tough. Hey, again, like, if you don't care though, just people just go for it, and people do it every day. So they got something I don't.
That's him. I watched this guy. It happened in Atlanta. We were at the HVAC Tactical Awards. Just walks into a group of people and it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And just starts talking and starts asking questions and diving in and saying random shit. And
okay, so you understand.
I was
he
I was
doesn't actually understand it. He's like, I don't understand.
So like, you just have to do it, right? That's the, like, I think about the Nike slogan, just do it. One of the best words that I've ever used or phrases when you jump in is like, hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your guys' conversation. I know that you guys are probably talking about some things, but I'm here to meet some people. So, and they're just like, oh yeah, absolutely. And they like, then you end up having a conversation with them for it. And that's one of the easiest intros that I've ever found that works, because it disarms them, because you're apologizing, which is totally Canadian of us. But then you also hit it really on the head. Like, I want to meet some people. So let's have a conversation. And they jump right in. So.
All right. I'll try that at my next conference cocktail hour.
Yes.
And I will report back.
Sounds good. I look forward to hearing it. So
can't wait. Yeah, let me know, because I'm usually the one at the bar just standing there and not talking to anyone, just analyzing the whole room. Doing shots by myself.
Whatever gets you through, you know.
Exactly. One thing you mentioned earlier was the presentation that you did around implementing tech and vetting tech. I wanted to dive in specifically to the vetting tech part, because this is something that, I mean, we face it as business owners in the marketing space. We talk to other clients that, like, they're inundated with it all the time. They're getting sold shit constantly. Your email's getting bombarded with. You're getting cold calls to the office. Vetting decisions as a business owner, whether it's technology, whether it's processes, and any type of new opportunity that's showing up at your door, best way to vet those decisions as a business owner.
Yeah. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to pull up this this presentation right now so I have it all in front of me. But yeah, really so I come from all the points that I have to say on this come from literally the person selling you, right? Like trying to sell it to you. So I think it's actually like a good insight to know, like, our brains and what we're looking for, so that you know how to come in confidently and ask for what you need. Right. So that's always been my first piece is, hey, like, what are our problems? What are our struggles first? Like, what is an issue that we know we need to implement something for, right? So decide that, or make a list, right? And make sure it's not just you as the business owner asking yourself that. Make sure you're asking every department, hey, where could we see some more efficiencies happening? Or where are we really struggling with getting this done and from A to B, right? So ask those questions first. Next, you have that list, and maybe it looks daunting, but don't say it's daunting, because in the end, you're making your business better for it. Go in and then prioritize what's our biggest issue right now, and where, you know, and maybe is it time sensitive? Do you know, like, you need a time tracking tool ASAP because you're bringing on like 3 new techs, right? Or is this like a financing issue you've been running into for 3 years, and you know you've outgrown what you're using and you're ready to go? So prioritize, decide, like, where are you at timing wise, how soon do you need this implemented, right? So again, where it falls into your priorities. Now you've made a decision of what kind of technology you want to look for. Cool. So then you can start, if you want, you can start doing your own research. And that research is going to include asking people in your field what they use for their solution. So ask questions. The nice thing is that the World Wide Web is quite helpful these days. So
the World Wide Web.
So
the Google.
the Google. So super easy, super fun. I mean, what do we all do when, I just got a pair of Hoka's running shoes. I'm super stoked about them, but there's like a million options to choose from. So guess what? I went on YouTube and I watched like 3 people that reviewed 5 different versions of the shoe. That's exactly what you can do. There's so much out there. And guess what? Especially if we're talking about vetting tech, there's so many demos already out there. Like, surprise, you can actually, some tech companies may like try to keep their pricing under wrap or try to keep their onboarding under wrap so that you don't know a lot, because the less you know, and I'm not like saying that salespeople are shady. I'm not saying that, but like the less you know, the more power the other side has. So realize you can empower yourself. So do your research. There's probably a ton of product demos online on YouTube. So jump on there or go check out their website, watch some videos first, so you kind of have an idea, and then also get the feedback from your peers. Maybe then you've decided, okay, there's like 5 really great CRMs out there that I've noticed that keep coming up, and I want to check out all of them. So next is that obviously you want to sit down and you want to have a conversation. So you can reach out to anybody. It's probably sales@companyname.com. Reach out and say, hey, I want to get an intro. I do want to see the platform. I've already done my research. If you want to, you can tell them like, these are our issues. This is what we're looking for. Because guess what? You probably will go through a discovery call. And discovery calls kind of suck because you're going to do like 5 of them if you're going to choose these top 5 CRMs. So just be ready for that. If you want to try to get ahead, you can craft a nice email, even for yourself, just to kind of know what you're looking for and have everything out in the open. You can say, hey, this is our issue. This is what we're looking for. This is why you caught our eye. And this is what we're excited to see. And then they're able to take you seriously rather than like, ooh, fresh people coming in and I'm going to get to mold their brains into what they think they want rather than what they actually want. Okay. So then you come in confident and you know what you're looking for. So if you do go through a discovery call, it may be annoying, but trust that like in the end, you're going to get the vibe of the person. They're going to be asking you questions maybe you haven't asked yourself. And normally if you've done your prep work, you can answer their questions pretty easy. And they'll move you on to the next step, which is a product demo. And then in that product demo, you're going to get to see everything, which is really nice. Make sure if you have features that you know are really important to you, that you ask them to dive into those features online with you, because sometimes they're not going to want to do that. So make sure you do that. And then as you're going through the process, they're probably going to ask you questions around pricing and prices and questions around integration. You really want to dive into your integration if you have other technologies that you know that you want to connect up with. So know what you're looking at there and what their API, and you don't have to be a tech whiz to know this. Just ask them like, hey, I may want to connect my Google Calendars with this, or what does it look like to connect QuickBooks with this? Like, can you tell me how people are using this? Can you give me some case studies? Start asking what that day-to-day looks like for actual clients of theirs. So that integration piece is important. And then obviously pricing, you should know your budget. And you should be able to have that conversation and be confident to have that conversation. That's a whole nother probably conversation around emotions and how you handle pricing conversations. But from a salesperson, that is the process and what it looks like from my side. So I think it's good to just like say it out loud. Like that's what you're going to expect, but you can arm yourself so that you have just as much power and say in the conversation as the person trying to sell you.
Yes.
Yeah. The consumers in today's day and age are educated. They're some of the most educated buyers out on the market today because of this World Wide Web. Going to the Googles or maybe they're going to go to ChatGPT and leverage a question that way. What should I look for in my tech? Right. But it is true that if you're sitting there as a business owner, you want to make your educated decisions. The worst thing that you can do is make a decision based on something that you, you might not know a lot about it, right? When you're talking about, okay, well, how do I know what I need to know? Well, you might not know what you need and what you want. And so there are some best practice groups out there that you can leverage and ask. Ask on Facebook is probably not necessarily the best place to ask, because you're going to get a myriad of different answers. But if you see a common theme and a common trend, well, then, hey, maybe that's a good question to ask.
The thing that stands out to me in your answer around all of that is it starts with intentionality, right? Being purposeful about identifying what problems do we have within the business, having those conversations with your key people. And by the way, if you're on your own, get someone around you that has been around your business, could even be a customer, and ask them what are the leaks in your process and what are the leaks in the customer journey that you can fill with technology or with a different system. But one of the keys that have come up multiply in the last couple of shows that we've had is around EOS and L10 meetings with your top people, right? Being able to identify what are those key problems, what are those opportunities for improvement within your business. And if you're not having those conversations, none of the rest of this even matters, because now you're just getting sold to on a whim and you have no idea, no vetting process for what it is to say yes or no to. Right?
Well, and everything you said, spot on. And like, if you don't include, I get where there can be too many cooks in the kitchen for some decisions. So I'm not saying involve absolutely every single person, but if you don't ask the key people in maybe even each department, say you buy something and you really think you made a great choice, like if they're not bought in, if they don't see the issue that you're trying to solve with this, and maybe this product is tech heavy, unlike CompanyCam, which is easy to implement. If it's not, if it's like, say, a Service Titan, which is incredible and amazing service, but like there's a lot of moving pieces there. If they don't understand why those moving pieces are there to help them and make them better, it's going to be so hard to get the buy-in of your team. So like, to be able to bring people into the fold in a balanced way it's going to help you leagues beyond just bringing on an awesome new piece of technology.
100%. Any benefit that you would have been getting from it, you lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by not implementing. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Love technology. Love talking about technology sales. There's so much out there. Honestly, like I get inundated by it. I'm like, I work for like this singular tech company that I think is awesome. I really do love us. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many options and there's so many things. And we're all just trying to get your attention for 3 seconds. Like it's a lot to be a consumer, you know what I mean, in the world. So I think you're right. Like going back to what you said, yeah, being as intentional as possible will help you sift through.
Well, and it's easy as an entrepreneur to have shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Right. You think that this other new thing is going to make things better and it's going to fix your problems magically. But if you fail to implement it correctly, it's not going to do jack shit for your business. Yeah. Right. And then you're just moving from thing to thing to thing, and you're never actually seeing anything through. You're never fully implementing it. You're never actually developing a real process in your business. So of course you're never going to see the real benefits from it.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
What's the most useless piece of tech you've seen?
You said there was something off. Was there anything off limits?
Okay, okay, let's remove it from a business point of view. What is personally the most useless piece of tech that you've seen? Is that better? Can we rephrase it?
No, I love it. So this can be like an app, software,
anything. This is almost like a random question version 2.
I love that question, man. I honestly, like, if I was prepped, I probably could make a list for you, because like I'm one of those people that I don't have a million page. I'm literally sifting through my phone right now. Like I don't have a million pages of apps. Like I hate it. And I literally work for an app company. So what's the most useless piece of tech for me? Okay. Watch us like end up integrating with these people and then they find this years later and they hate me. No. What really didn't work for me was like I'm always trying to get myself organized. and I've never organized. What never worked for me was Evernote. I don't know if you guys have ever used that.
I've heard
I
of it.
really
Yeah.
tried to use it, and it just honestly, I would say like all of these schedulers, like, or these like quick and easy schedulers or whatever, like, oh my gosh, nothing. Like they just don't work for me. I've found one that I kind of like, but yeah, all of them have kind of been trash for me, even though they've probably been great for many. And Evernote is like one of the most popular like organization scheduling apps. Not for me. So if you guys have suggestions, I'd love to take them. But
I think scheduling and organization is nuanced to the individual. You know, like you can't put a square peg in a round hole. You know, you need to find something that's round to go into the round hole, right?
Totally.
And that works for you. And so everything is completely different. I mean, fuck, some people love sticky notes, right? And that's how they get their shit organized all around their computer, right? Like that drives. My wife does the same thing too. And I have one that's here, and that's my forwarding phone number, my US forwarding phone number, that in case somebody needs to call me, because we're Canadian cell phone, I'm like, here's my US forwarding number to get to my cell phone. That's the only thing that I have on there. But other people are like, okay, to-do lists, right? Like, I don't like to-do lists because I've never checked shit off. I know what I need to get done, right? So everything's different, I think, for each person. So it's finding out the way that you operate and building something around that on how you like to actually get shit done and remember things and do things. Right.
I think it's interesting, and I promise I'm not trying to like pub CompanyCam because I'm already here. If you want to check it out to anybody. But yeah, it's interesting you say that, because as CompanyCam, we're kind of a unstructured capture experience. Like, it sounds like we're not, because it's like project based and it organizes it by time and date, but you're just clicking photos, right? You're just snapping photos and they're getting uploaded. That's it. We had a lot of people within the HVAC world come to us and say, like, we need more structure, because our techs, like, it's even hard to just get them to take photos because they're busy and they're doing their job, like, and they're trying to communicate with the customer and yada, yada, yada. They were like, we just like need a checklist. So yeah, we've built out this awesome feature that's built into all of our projects now. So it's like a checklist of, you can template them out, you can build them, customize them, and choose like maybe your top 20 photos that you need for every single maintenance call or something like that. And then you snap the photo, gets organized by that line item, and then boom, it gets pushed out as a PDF. So that was something that like was never in our brains. And then, 7 years later, we realized we're like, oh my gosh, like people need structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially as they scale. So yeah, I think you're totally right. In the beginning, sticky notes and Google Calendar worked for me. And now I'm like, I need a little bit of something else.
Yeah. Project management tools, I think, are also good for a lot of people. Like we use it, and maybe they're in your FSMs, they're built into it. But I mean, we use ClickUp in our business for our organization and our task tracking specifically. And there's checklists that happen in there that need to get done on jobs. So that helps for us in terms of the task tracking itself. But finding that one piece of tech that just is there, maybe we should invent something. There we go. 3 of us put our minds together. One part that I wanted to talk about, I mean, obviously we're a marketing company, so I like to talk about how this impacts and benefits marketing as a whole. So looking at job photos, and not just exclusive to CompanyCam, but as a bigger picture and a broader image, how can one integrate and leverage the use of documentation to aid in their marketing efforts?
Yeah. Amazing. That's one of our, like, if you go to our website and you check out, like, how we, you kind of decide what are our main pain points and what are the main pain points that people are coming to us to have a solution for, right? And one of the, like, I think it's the last one is marketing. So marketing and sales. Because as I kind of touched on, if you don't have a visual component to your sales or your marketing, any of your content, you don't really have anything anymore. Just because, like, look at how much this has changed from like just a singular photo on Facebook to like Instagram with this like nice little album of photos, to now we're like on TikTok and we're literally scrolling and we can see like 50 videos in a minute, right? It's just changed so much. So and we know how important marketing your company is, but we know that you can do it poorly,
Mhm.
or you can do it really well. So if we can come in and help in any way to just, again, make the process of marketing your company a little bit more efficient, or to even get you to have any visuals on like a social platform, or even some real visuals on your website, that's a win for us. Like, we're not trying to be a marketing company, but we're there to help. And we're there to say, hey, you already snapped all these photos. You already took some before and afters. Why don't you use them to get more clients, right? Why don't you use them to share with your current clients so that they can easily share them with people they want to refer you to? Why don't we empower people to do that with the content you've already created? So with that being said, obviously we are holding all of your photos and all of your videos. So it's an easy hub and cloud-based system for you to drag any of those photos and videos out, to drop those anywhere you want, whether that's onto your website or onto your socials, right? So that's the first piece. We've always been really popular with our before and after camera, which is awesome because people love using it. And again, it just empowers them to make it simple and easy to create a nice piece of content for marketing that they can use automatically, rather than having to, go into it. What are the few like apps where you have to go in and stitch photos together and then maybe like throw some content or some copy on there. Like, we're just trying to make it more quicker and faster for them. So the before and afters is really helpful. We just came out with being able to drop your logo on any photo, which a lot of people like, just to be able to do quickly and automatically. And then we also came out, I think this is about 2 years ago now, but now we do have a widget where you can connect your CompanyCam with your website. So you may bring on like a website builder and you may have like a gallery of like, projects we've worked on or whatever. And they have to go in and upload those photos and things like that. Well, we've started working with marketing companies. So they just utilize our widget for their clients that use CompanyCam. So now it's just a really nice, sleek little widget that they can put on any page. And then the companies can go in there and choose the projects that they want to highlight on that like widget or on that reel, if you will, on the website. And then they can put in a little description and a story, and we put a cover page for it and the cover photo. And then there's a full timeline of that job or maybe that install or something like that. I know HVAC isn't necessarily the best trade for like visuals. Like, it's not as pretty as landscaping or as pretty as roofing. But still, what we've learned is people really love see us as a marketing tool, honestly, because as we all know, as consumers, like, we don't want to see stock images anymore. So they're really trying to take the photos that their techs are actually getting out in the field and then using that like on their websites or on their socials. So yeah, those are a few call outs that I would say.
No, it's huge for building trust, right? You can't build trust if you look like a fake company that's got stock images up there.
Yep.
That one guy that's on pretty much almost every HVAC website that doesn't have their own photos. He's like the blue overall guy, and his logo changes all the time. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hey, look, he's very popular. He's on some of our clients that don't have their own photos done. Right? It looks way better when you have your own photos of your work. Way better. So
yeah. That's always been, you hit on a good word. That's been kind of one of our long-standing mottos, whether that's internally or even externally with some of our marketing, is building truth and transparency. Those are our two words that we always say. Just because ultimately, like, you're taking photos, of course, for yourselves, but you're also taking photos to communicate a story or to communicate an issue or to communicate a potential solution to the person that you're working for, right? So when you have those visual pieces easily accessible and easy to share, you just build so much transparency with a client, which then makes them want to share you to everyone else. It's like just that little ripple effect,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was like in sequence.
Almost.
Yeah. So in case anybody wants to reach out to CompanyCam and see what they're all about, we have a couple links that we can drop. We'll shamelessly plug our guest, CompanyCam.com. There's one way to get in touch with that. If you want to reach out to Claire directly, CompanyCam.com/Claire. I don't know what's on that page, but looks pretty.
If you want to try it and you want a deal, go there.
There you go.
You did a discount. So
you get a discount. So let's ignore the CompanyCam.com. CompanyCam.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you tell them HVAC Revealed sent you. We do not get an affiliate link. We should probably talk about that though. Kidding. Claire.Ficke at CompanyCam.com. And follow her on Instagram, instagram.com/CompanyCamClaire.
Instagram's more fun.
Yes, it definitely is. It's one area that I have not taken advantage of in our marketing, and I definitely want to take more advantage of internally for myself. So as we wrap up, we have one final question here for you, Claire. What is one question that you wished people would ask you more, but don't?
Oh, didn't I answer this in the questionnaire? Did I not?
It's not one of the questions in the questionnaire.
It's not one of the questions in the question. Let me see. See, I told you I'm not organized. I don't remember these things. What is one question I wish more people would ask me? I wish more people would ask me, like, what is your philosophy on life? Like, how do you just move through life? What's your general mindset? I like that question. I like to ask people that question. I wish more people asked me.
So, what is your general philosophy on life?
That's a cop-out. You can't just take my question. I hope that I can say this succinctly. I believe that I try to walk through life with a positive mindset and with peace, even through the crap and the challenges, with peace, because I know that everything is happening for me and it will happen in the correct timing for when I, as my soul or as myself, is ready for it. So if there's something I really want, but it doesn't come for like 3 years, it's because, hey, I wasn't ready for it, or I wouldn't have been able to like love it 3 years ago, but I will now, or something like that. So that's my philosophy on life. Anybody want to take a stab at the question before we go? Philosophy on life, you guys?
I mean, I think life has different seasons, for sure, and where you're at and what you want to get out of it. But really, I mean, one of my big philosophies is, and this was a paradigm shift that I had to make when we had our firstborn, of, the shit in the honey-do list that, and even my own to-do list on our house just doesn't get done, because I would much rather take the extra time to spend with my family. We're also building our business so our team can also spend more time with their family in terms of some of their work aspects of things. Nobody ever says, on their deathbed, gee, I wish I spent more time at the office. They always say the opposite. I should have spent more time with my family. And that's kind of one of my guiding principles and guiding philosophies, is to actually take those time and cherish those moments, specifically those with kids. You spend 90% of your time with your kids before they're 18, and probably even more so before they're 5, right? Because as they get older, I would probably maybe 8 or 9, they get friends, they go start hanging out, they're not home as much, doing other things, right? So take that time and enjoy it, because you only get it once.
I love that.
That's mine.
Now I'm going to go see my parents. Oh my
my mom's actually watching the podcast.
So
my mom's watching the podcast too, so she chimes in on the comments. So yeah,
she's so proud too.
Yeah, that was talking.
There we go.
That was talking about working the room and having those conversations with people. So she was our first and she was our only viewer when we first started doing this 2.5 years ago. So been with us to the beginning. So that is her
fan.
Top
fan.
Number one fan. So
she got a ton of shout outs in the beginning.
Yeah, ton. Well, she was the only one making comments on the show.
You need that person. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it.
Well, it's like that dancing video, the rave video that came out, whatever it was, the viral one a couple of years ago, where the one guy was dancing by himself and just having the time of his life. And then another person joined, and then another person joined, and then eventually everyone joined in and started having the time of their life, right? But you need that one person who's going to be audacious and stand up there at the front and just go buck wild. And that's
so that's your philosophy on life?
It should be.
It kind of sounded like I was like, that's a good philosophy. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely willing to make an ass of myself to make other people enjoy themselves more. So
that's probably accurate to his philosophy.
Absolutely. You need someone to speaker dance because no one's dancing. I'm the guy.
You're the guy. You're the guy. After a few drinks.
Always.
Course, right?
Nothing wrong with liquid courage.
Nothing at all. So, Evan, did you want to share your philosophy on life? We both went.
I know. Waiting. I was thinking you might jump in.
No, for me, it's making an impact one conversation at a time. That's everything that I live for and get excited about and lights me up and fires me up is one-on-one conversations with people. So, yeah.
It helps you. I love that because it helps you like be present rather than like try to look so in advance, because then when you're doing that, you can't be present, even like your conversation with your mom, right?
Right. Well,
that's good. I'm going to take that.
Most people when they're in a conversation, they're not really listening to what people are saying. They're thinking about what they're going to say next. And so they're not empathetic listening. They're not actually hearing the words. They're thinking, oh, well, that's a good point. Maybe I should say this, or maybe that's the point I should say this. And then people always interrupt, and because they're thinking about what they want to say, not what the person is actually saying.
Yep. 100%.
So, I'm bad at
guys,
it.
good ones.
Yes.
These were better. I'm so excited that I even brought this up. This was great. I'm going to take both of your philosophies and implement them.
So there we go. Put them all together in one, and now you've got an amazing philosophy.
Amazing life, right?
Amazing life, right? So, well, I will say, be the first to say thank you, Claire, for taking the time out of your day to sit and chat with us about CompanyCam and how and just overall efficiencies in the business. And look, I know we talked a lot about CompanyCam. I'm sure there's probably other places out there that can do it, whether it's CompanyCam or somebody else. Not to discredit, what you guys do. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. Something is better than nothing, right? And documenting this and having this as something that can really help out your business was great things. I love the conversation around the sales too, at the very beginning and leading into that. That was also some deep stuff, and how we ended it. So thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and your wisdom with us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. This was so much fun.
Awesome.
It's an honor.
And until next time,
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of HVAC Success Secrets Revealed. Before you go, two quick things. First off, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/HVAC Revealed. The other thing, if you took one tiny bit of information out of this show, no matter how big, no matter how small, all we ask is for you to introduce this to one person in your contacts list. That's it. That's all. One person. So they too can unleash the ultimate HVAC business. Until next time, cheers.